Coming up in the show tonight, all relationships have their ups and downs, but how do you know if it's time to end it with your partner? And when you start having doubts every day, is there any way of saving the relationship? Well, tonight's guest went from being unable to picture a future with her partner to becoming happily married. Find out how faith helped to save the relationship, all in the next hour of Finding Answers.
Good evening and welcome to Finding Answers. How can you turn a bad relationship into a marriage? And not just a marriage, but a happy one. Is that possible? Can that be done and achieved? Well, that's what we are going to find out tonight. Our guest of tonight's show is Marcia Salazar, who has a thrilling and amazing story to share with you. And by the way, Finding Answers has very, very good news. We got here our new co-presenter, Pastor Neil. How are you, Pastor Neil?
I'm good.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
And I believe
Pleasure
that
to be here.
Yeah, your input and wisdom will help this viewer very much. Well, now, my friends, we are going to watch a video clip that talks about someone who had problems and issues in life, but through the power of faith, this person saw a genuine turnaround in their life. Watch now.
Before I came to God, my life was like a complete mess. I was looking for something in the parties. I was looking to belong, and I used to go with my friends, and with that same group of friends we would then go out and we would terrorize people, we'll beat people up for literally no reason. Because I grew up quite aggressively, so I would also have my own fights where I wouldn't even want my friends to get involved. It was usually with girls to do with guys, and especially when I felt like they were disrespecting me, then it would become a really big thing. I even put a girl in hospital once, and that was like the worst moment because they barged into my house looking for me, and my family were just really scared. I also used to steal. I used to steal quite a lot, and I would steal and I would sell everything for half price. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night at all. I would then have to go to school and sleep at school to compensate for the sleep I haven't had. Only when the sun came up then I might be able to get a few hours in, but that was me every single night. I was always scared. And when I could, I would watch pornography until I could go to bed. And if I couldn't, then I would just do it during the day. And I did that for like 7 years. And it just changed the way I saw people. And that was my life before I came to God. My life has changed a lot. I don't watch pornography anymore. That was one of the hardest things to stop doing, but it was one of the first things I did stop. I don't fight anymore, I don't go to parties, I don't look for happiness in places where I know I'm not gonna find it. My family's changed, we've come together. A lot of things have changed. Even my finances has changed as well. I managed to buy a car that I really love, and something it's always been the car I wanted as my first car. I also got a really good job, and there's progression for my career, and they're offering to pay for my studies as well, so everything's going really well.
Welcome back. We are talking about unhappy relationships that turn into happy marriages. And you who are watching me now, you who have just seen this last video clip of this person whose life was falling apart, was hopeless. But when this person found the power of faith and learned how to tap into it and use it effectively, the results couldn't be greater. And Pastor Neil, this is what Finding Answers is all about. We are not promoting a religion. We are not trying to make people follow a religious path or join a church or a denomination. That's not our aim. We don't need that. What we want is to help. We want to help you. You who are watching this show and you acknowledge that you're suffering. You acknowledge that your life has become hopeless. Depression has been killing you slowly. Anxiety, fear, worry. You don't know what to do about your future. Perhaps you didn't even sleep well last night. You need to take antidepressants to see if you get a little bit of sleep. But even antidepressants have not been working, have not been helping you. You've been everywhere. You've been always in and out of hospital. Your health is always getting a critical condition. You don't know what else to do. You've known quite a few doctors. You've gone to many GPs. You've gone to treatment. You've gone to specialists, and your problem still persists. You don't know what else to do. Faith can help.
For sure. And many times, Pastor Douglas, the problem is there, but the person pretends as if it's nothing. They says, no, other people suffer. So it's nothing. It's like, I am going to suffer also. I'm not the only one that suffer. I saw many people with love life problem. I saw many people with unhappiness. And because of that, they keep quiet with that unhappy relationship, Pastor Douglas. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. That's true. And you know what? One of the biggest lies that people are trained to believe is that time will solve my problem.
Yes, that's exactly.
Time will solve my problem. But there are people who are watching us now, and they've been dealing with the problem for now 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And time hasn't seemed to be their best friend. Time has not been working in their favor, but against them. No, my dear viewer, that's not true. Time will not help. Unless we do something to tackle the problem will persist. Well, let me now call my honorable friend, Rachel Edwards. Good evening, Rachel.
Good evening, Pastor Douglas, and good evening, Pastor Neil.
Good evening, Rachel. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's lovely to see a new face here. I bet you at home are getting a bit sick of us, so it must be nice for you as well to see a friendly face standing here ready to co-present.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, well, as always, I've been doing my research on the topic, and what I've been looking at is the fact that sometimes it is difficult to determine whether or not we want to break up with our partner because of problems with the relationship or because of an internal battle or crisis that we're going through within ourselves. So how can you at home tell if it's you or if it's the relationship that you need to change? Well, first of all, I want you to picture what your ideal life would look like. I want you to ask yourself if you can imagine a life without your partner. If you find that you're picturing a life which your partner doesn't fit into, you might have grown apart and it might be time to reconsider your feelings. Now, the second indicator that they might not be the person for you is if you can see a notable change in your own personality. So have you found that you've morphed into a sadder version of yourself when you're around them? Do you feel like your partner stifles rather than supports you? Or do you prefer the person you are when you're with others? These are all signs that this person isn't bringing out the best in you, and again, it is a good reason to consider ending the relationship. But if it's you and it's not the relationship, the signs will be different. You might find that you're arguing with your partner not because the relationship has turned sour, but because you feel depressed and angry about other issues in your life. If this is the case, you need to communicate these feelings as honestly as you can with your partner. Their reaction to this will actually tell you all you need to know about whether or not they're the right person based on if they support you when you actually open up to them. Also, if you find that you're isolating yourself from your friends and family as well as your partner, the likelihood is that there is a personal problem that needs to be addressed so that you can feel happy and healthy with or without your partner at the end of this. So I hope that these have helped you tonight, and if you do want to get in touch and let us know, maybe you have some tips for other viewers watching on how you manage to salvage your relationship and maybe even end up marrying this person, then do get in touch with us through the social media. You can always get in touch with us if you look up Finding Answers on Facebook. We're right there, we're always posting. You can comment, you can like, and you can even send us a private message in our inbox. You can also get in touch with us if you look us up on Instagram. Now, we post all the behind the scenes footage there. We're going to post a little picture of Pastor Neil tonight as well. So you'll get a little fun fact about him if you want to have a look on the Instagram now. Just search Finding Answers. And if you want to look us up on YouTube, again, it's Finding Answers. Now, we have a really strong story coming up from our live guest tonight. But before we go over to her, I want to go to one of my favourite parts of the show, which is finding out what you lot at home think of the topic tonight. So tonight I was going out, last week I was going out to the streets of London, and I was asking the public what they think and what you think makes a happy relationship work. So let's see what you had to say.
What's the secret to a happy relationship?
I think it's plain and simple communication. I think if you can, whether it's your family member, a friend, your partner, it's just plain and simple sitting down and just telling them how you feel. I think sometimes we think people are mind readers and they're in our mind, they know exactly what we're thinking. But no, just sit down, be honest, and if they're your real friend or real partner, they'll be able to take it on the chin, what you've got to say. So yeah, I think communication.
It sounds pretty typical, but honesty and trust, it's the two key things. That's all you can count on.
Yeah. Is that what's worked for you in the past?
Yeah, I've been dating my boyfriend for 2 years and it's worked pretty well.
Nice. You're asking the wrong person. For me, the secret to a happy relationship is trust, and I believe that's the secret, because if you don't have trust, then you don't have anything. All my relationships have been I've tried to base around trust, but that is key for me. You can be with somebody for 20 years, if you haven't got trust, you haven't got anything.
Not to actually commit to one, in all honesty. If I'm going to be
Really?
Yes, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Is this from a past breakup or?
No, this is from just trying to have my career, trying to get that set up. Things get in the way, unfortunately. So if I'm going to be honest with you, that's what I'm going to say.
What is something that you would never do in a relationship?
I like those opinions, and actually very interestingly, way more women were willing to stop to talk about relationships and kind of personal issues than men were last week. So I wonder what this says about society. But I'm not going to answer the question tonight. Instead, I'm going to give it to our new co-presenter, Pastor Neil. So Pastor Neil, what do you think? What's the one thing that you wouldn't do in a relationship?
One thing that I would not do, Rachel, is to avoid the problem. If it's there, if I avoid it, it's going to grow more and more and get worse and worse. So I will not avoid it. Once the problem is there, I need to solve it at the same time. That's what I would. That's the only one of the things I would not do in the relationship. Don't avoid that problem.
Wise words. Definitely listen to this. I think if you let the problem escalate, I think that's why people end up cheating on their partners, because there's lack of communication, they don't know what they're doing, and then they regret it afterwards. And who knows, the person loses their trust forever, because it's harder to get over something like that when you don't communicate how you really feel. Do you agree, Pastor Douglas?
Absolutely. Actually, we care about the way you feel. Do you want to talk? Do you want to get things off your chest? Well, we are willing and keen to listen to you. We've got a team of pastors to give you all the support you need. Just call us now. Number is 020-7686-6300, or you can send an email to help@finances.tv. Now, pay close attention to this. We are going to go to a break now. But when we come from the break, we will watch the amazing story of Marcia Salazar. Marcia went through ups and downs in her relationship. So please, now, do get your mobile phone, your gadgets, text your friends, invite them, ask them to turn on their telly, to watch Finances, because Marcia's story will certainly help a lot of people whom you know. Okay, stay tuned.
I was depressed for many years, but not anymore. And now it's my turn to help you lead a happier and healthier life.
Watch The Chrissy B Show on MyTV.
Melting polar ice caps, droughts, and rising sea levels. Climate change brings global disasters, and human activities are part of the problem. But people around the world are looking for ways to address the threat.
Watch Global 3000 on MyTV. The Day provides current news and affairs background analysis.
A growing number of migrants crossed the Serbian-Hungarian border.
There is no doubt about it.
Understand top stories, get professional expertise, statistics and video footage that will give a full insight into the world's most recent issues. Get information in its most complete form. Watch The Day on MyTV. Meet the amazing SUV Jaguar, the stylish Fiat, a vintage VW, a sporty Honda, and the Green Smart ED. Drive it, test it, know it. We have cars for any taste. Explore vehicles and their features with our weekly show. Watch Drive It on MyTV.
Well, my friends, here we are finding answers for addiction. And I have here today a couple that were suffering with this problem in the house, in their relationship, but managed to overcome. So let's find out how. Hi, it's good to have you here today.
Pleased to have us.
What's your name?
Ignatius Hango.
Ignatius, what happened? Which kind of problems you had?
I had two addictions, friend and alcohol. And they had one enemy, my wife.
Your wife? What's your name?
Apollonia.
Apollonia, you were the enemy of his addiction.
Yeah.
But he did not used to see the addiction as a problem.
No, it's perfectly all right.
How? Explain this.
Because by then, the addiction made me to be a bit blind. I can't see the wrong I was doing. I thought it's cool to have my friend, it's cool to be on a pub, drinking from 7, 8 afternoon to 3, 4 dawn in the morning.
Every day?
Any day I want.
Any day you want. How often did you used to do that?
Probably 5 times, 6 times per week.
Almost every day?
Yeah, he will come from work. He will actually take off his tie and jacket, bracer, put it in the car, and go and sit, relax with his friends till 2, 3, 4 in the morning and come home.
He said you were the enemy. Explain that.
I was the enemy because I was against his friends and his drinking habit. He can come from the office, take off his tie and his bracer and put it in the car, and he start from there till 2, 4 in the morning. And when I complain, I want to control him. I'm a jealous woman. He's not called for. I should understand him.
Couldn't you see what you're doing?
No, not at all. I thought that she's just jealousy and she's lack of discipline. She should let a man do whatever he feel like doing. It's my money, it's my truck, my pub, my friend, me, my life, personal, and I. That's it.
You said that this was controlling you, that addiction was taking over your life. And then how bad this affect your marriage, your life?
It had all the negative effect upon our marriage. When I go, I use the money that I'm supposed not to use for alcohol, petrol, driving, and my life was in danger. Most of the times I put their life in danger because at times she comes at our pub, and when we come from the pub, me, under the influence of liquor, rum, I drive a truck, a brand new truck at 240, 250, almost the whole speedometer finishing, with the wife and child in the truck.
You were in the car? Mm-hmm. Apollonia, describe that moment. I want to hear about it.
It's frightening in a way because you know the person is not himself 100%. And when you talk to him, he will tell you, I've been driving for ages. I can take you home, just shut up.
But high, under the influence of alcohol.
High. Believe me, you take your finger out of the truck probably to just go off.
Wow.
High.
I want to hear the worst moment for you that this addiction took your relationship in, or what happened.
The worst moment actually, it was the time when he went to Zambia for 3 months. The organization he was working for sent him for a course. He came back, I think it was a celebration with his friends. He took off, he came back around 3 in the morning. I can hear his truck tires screeching as he's turning in, and he came there, parked near the house, and his music so loud. And he came knocking like a policeman, and the maid, because we used to have a living maid, she opened the door for him, and he just braced, passing her, not even say good evening or good morning. In fact, that time came in our room, walked across, went in the wardrobe, took out a gun, put it on my head.
Hold on a second.
I did not open the door for him.
A machine gun?
No,
it's a revolver.
A revolver?
Yes.
In your head?
Yes.
Couldn't you see what you were doing?
No.
In that moment, what came to your mind?
Well, I was scared, but at the same time I was like, I did not really do anything wrong for him to kill me. But again, I was in danger, although I did not see it. And in the morning, I packed and I left for 2 weeks.
You left. When you say for 2 weeks, because love was...
was still there.
Was still there. You liked him. You fought for him. Was worthy fighting for this marriage?
Yes, it was.
Did you manage to change things around?
Indeed, we did. We came to a church. There we find a formula. And at the beginning, when I listened to the formula, it didn't make any sense. It's lack logic. But as I kept on going, things start to make sense. But there was a formula to follow.
So can I describe this as faith?
Yes.
So you learned the secret called faith.
Yes.
You applied that.
Yes.
And things start to change. If I make a comparison here, Apollonia, Ignatians before, Ignatians today, how big is this change?
A very big difference, very significant difference, where nobody can't even say, oh, maybe he just got over it. This is not about getting over it. 17 years.
17 years?
Yes.
17
years. Clean.
You managed to, they say that cannot change the life of an alcoholic person. Once an addict, always an addict.
That's just pure, simply contradicting words that lead people to think and believe that they cannot ditch their addiction.
So, do you drink today?
No. I don't like any. I don't like the smell. I don't like any of it. I don't even like the environment.
So it's changed from inside?
Completely.
He now put his family first.
How is... he put families first now.
Yes.
How is... she's no longer the enemy?
No.
Now, how is the relationship? How is your life?
She's my friend. If I knew before. If I knew before, I shouldn't put her through what I put her through. But I didn't know. I was blind. Today, I knew she was thinking straight. I was blind.
Who is your husband today?
He's a lovely husband. Very, very lovely husband. He's free. We don't argue anymore. He puts me and the children first. And even safety-wise, he's more aware of things around him now, more than me. So I'm happy. I can't complain.
So there is a solution for addiction.
A big solution that's available to anyone.
Good. Thank you very much for having me here today. Well, there you have it. There is a solution. There is a way out. And the proof is these facts. People that are finding the way out. Call us 020-7686-6300 to find out more
how you can also find help for addiction. Now let's go back to the studio.
Pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
Welcome back to Find the Answers, and tonight our live guest is Marcia. How are you, Marcia?
I'm good, thank you.
That's great. Thanks for coming to the show.
No problem.
Marcia, you obviously are now happy in your life, but things have not always been like that. Tell us, how was your life before you have encountered faith?
So, Pastor, I would like to say I would never imagine myself being here talking to a lot of people, you know, telling them that things has changed, because I would never believe it before. I would never believe that things will actually change for me. That's how low I went. I completely lost hope. I thought I was always going to be unhappy for the rest of my life. Never ever thought that I would ever find faith. So growing up, I obviously grew up with a lot of insecurities, and so did my husband. He grew up as well. He got bullied as a child. He would have lots of problems with his mum. And then me, also I wouldn't have much of a relationship with my parents. I would hide in my room. So that we wasn't a united family. I wouldn't open up to my parents. We wouldn't sit down in a meal as a family. So it's like, as growing up, I started feeling like I needed to be happy. So that's where I thought by having a partner would fulfill that happiness inside of me.
So you thought that being in a relationship would you make your life happier?
Yes, I thought that. Because we was having problems at home, because I was having problems with my sister, I never used to feel welcome. I never felt like I could open up to my mum. I was very shy as well. I would always be scared. I would fear to speak to them in case I wouldn't have a good reaction from them. So it's like I would even lie to my parents saying that I'm doing very well at school. They would think that I'm doing so well when I wasn't. So I was basically just wearing a mask. So it was like a way out. That's why things went so quickly with my now husband, because I was so desperate to leave my house because I never felt welcome, that as soon as I met him, things just moved on quickly.
Tell us about this encounter between you and your husband. Obviously today he's your husband, but then tell us about your relationship then.
Okay, so when I met him, we basically met through someone that I knew. They basically gave him my contact number, and then we started speaking from there. And then as we kept speaking, we were speaking on the phone for a long time, and then we met. It's like I never felt attracted to him in the beginning, but he was always chasing after me for like 1 year. He was always saying, no, I want to be with you, but I was always, backing him off. Until one time I said, you know what, I have no choice. I want to leave my house. I'm not happy where I am. So let's just give it a go. And then it was from then that I got with him, and then we was using unprotected when we was having relations, and I got pregnant with my son.
Okay.
So when I got pregnant with my son, we started having problems even before I found out I was pregnant because of my insecurities. I always felt like he was looking at other women, and that would cause a lot of arguments. And then I remember that day when I went to his house to split up with him. And I was feeling like dizzy spells. And then that's when, not long after, I found out I was pregnant. And then I was like, oh no, now I'm stuck. So it was right from the beginning that I found pregnant that I was already having problems from the beginning, but because of the pregnancy, I felt like that was what kept us together, if that makes sense.
But things didn't get any better.
No, it didn't, no.
Because remember, at the beginning of our interview here, you said that you thought, well, if I leave my parents' house and be in a relationship, life will be a lot better. But that's not what happened.
No, it didn't get better. We would argue so much. Again, because of the insecurities, I remember he's a DJ, and I would always be next to him because I would always fear that he would be looking at other people, that women would go up to him. And I remember I also had a panic attack where the ambulance had to come to my house, again, because I thought, he's looking at other women, and he got so angry because of the jealousy that I remember he broke the whole wardrobe. And because I was a woman that I would maintain the house, because he never used to work, so I was like the man of the house. So I had to make sure I worked full time, took care of him, took care of my son, and took care of the house, like the bills and everything. So every time I will see him touching something, because he will have such anger problems that he will pick something up and throw it in the wall, and then that will hurt me. He would say, I'm going to break the TV. So it went from then on, and then the reverse psychology as well. I went through that, where he would say that he was going to call the social services in me. I was a bad mom. So, yeah.
And then we learned something here, Pastor Neil. We heard that, you see, she was wrong. Obviously, she did not know it then, but she eventually found out she was wrong about having the idea that, leaving my parents' house to be in a relationship will make my life better, which did not happen.
No.
It made it worse, because now she was pregnant, she was the breadwinner of the house, not to mention the other problems that she had, which makes us all, understand that if you're trying to make a relationship as escape, where, if I find a relationship, I will be better off, because you see, living with my parents is hell. I don't like living with my parents, so if I go and live with my boyfriend, girlfriend, life will be much better. Well, the problem is, are you ready to leave your parents' house to be in a relationship? Is it the right time?
Because what happened to her, Pastor Douglas, sorry to cut.
No, please, you're free.
She ran from one problem, and then she started to have 5, 6, 7, 8.
True, yeah.
Understand? She had one, she didn't know how to deal with one, and she thought that through this way, I'm going to come out from this one. Then she started to encounter many other problems. And this is exactly what is happening with many people. They are running from one, and then they find themselves facing many. Just like what she did.
Yeah. And again, time will not solve this problem. Time, please, you viewer, understand this. I know I'm being a bit emphatic here. I'm repeating myself, but I want to make this point very clear. Time will not solve your problem. You've got to do something about it. You've got to take actions. You've got to provoke this real change. And that's what she did, and that's what she's going to disclose to us in the next segment, because right now we are gonna go to a break. Stay tuned.
Time is an illusion. There is only the now.
So now's a good time?
Oh.
She with you?
I thought she was with you.
If it's in the cinema, it's in On Screen. On Screen on MyTV. Get all the recent news updates with France 24. Watch France 24 on MyTV. Football, football and football. More football than ever. Championships and Bundesliga legends are closer than you think with Kickoff. Watch Kickoff on MyTV. Latest digital inventions, cyber concerns and much more uncovered in Shift. Everything you need to know about the modern digital world. Watch Shift on MyTV.
Welcome back to Finances. Do you want to talk about your problems? Do you need someone to listen to what you have to say? Well, we are glad to hear what you have to say. The number is 020-7686-6300. Or you can send an email to help@finances.tv. By the end of this program, Pastor Neil will say a very powerful prayer on your behalf. Stay tuned. But now, going back with Marcia Salazar, the guest of tonight's show. Marcia, what was the worst moment of your life?
The worst moment of my life was when I said to my husband, because anyway, many times I would say to him, I don't want to be with you anymore. But there was a time that I had enough. And I remember packing his bags and I was saying, that's it. You're out of here. And then I remember he went to the kitchen, and I think my son was there that day as well. He went to the kitchen, he got a knife. He said, if you leave me, I'm gonna kill myself. That was from then on that I said, that's it, there's no way out. I'm stuck. It's just, there's no way out. Now I'm gonna be unhappy for the rest of my life because I can't get rid of this guy. And the other one was when, to escape from a problem, I remember when I used to go to jobs, because of my insecurity, I would want to leave the job, but I wouldn't have the courage to tell my boss, I don't want to be in this job anymore. So for me to escape from there, I had to go for an excuse. Let me get pregnant again.
So you had the guts to get yourself pregnant just to find an excuse to approach your boss to quit your job.
Yes.
Did you do it?
Yeah, I did. I have my daughter now. She's going to be 6 years old. So that was the way out, because I lost myself completely. That I didn't even have the courage to go to my boss to say, I don't want to be here anymore. I was such low self-esteem. I didn't believe in myself anymore.
Because of the insecurities you had inside of you.
Insecurities, yes.
Now, Marcia, tell us, how did your life change?
Okay, so when I came to the church, I remember obviously the main problem I went was for my marriage. And my focus was always on him, always to change him. I always said, every time I would do a prayer, I would say, change my husband, change my husband, change my husband. But then suddenly something just changed inside of me. And I no longer had the desire to focus on him anymore. But then I realized for every word that I would hear, the word of faith I would hear, I would realize that, you know what, it's like I'm always pointing things at him, but I also have problems myself. Because I would think that I was okay. I would think it wasn't me that was the problem. I would think it was always him, the problem. I always point the fingers. I would always, you know, put all the burden on top of him, but never on myself. So I remember that year was actually the New Year's. New Year's, I made a decision that this year I'm going to focus on myself. I'm going to focus on changing myself. And that was from there on that to me, that's the secret to how my relationship changed. Because I focused on myself, because I was focusing on my changes, it reflected on my partner. So he started seeing them changes, and then he felt the need that he needed to change as well. And you know, there's that thing where, for example, I can say it as a mum, where they say that your children look up to you, they follow your example. I see it that in my relationship, because I was starting to give a good example to my now husband. Like things just start changing. Like his attitude towards me, now he's more understanding. You know, we can communicate now, whilst before I couldn't communicate with him. I would communicate with him because his insecurity was so bad that I had to write down everything on a piece of paper. I couldn't literally talk.
Verbalize.
Yeah, I couldn't verbalize with him, which that was another problem we would have, because I couldn't talk, communicate. I write everything on a piece of paper, he wouldn't have it. So now we can actually sit down and have a communication without me fearing to talk to him, because before I would fear to have a conversation, because when I would talk, he would just go angry. Now he's more understanding. He understands me more, and obviously I understand him more as well. So yeah, and because I never used to believe in marriage as well. That was like a no-no for me, and I believe it brought trauma to him, because I would always remind him that if he ever asked me for marriage, I would say no. And obviously, as I kept going to the church, I started having that understanding. Why am I fearing? Why am I fearing the future? If God is not about fear with him, you know, he wants something bright, you know, he has something bright at the end of the tunnel, not, you know, something dark. So I start, you know, asking for that confirmation. Is he the person for me? Is he the person for me? Until I was sure. It's like before I would look at him with bad eyes. I would always see the negative on him. But then afterwards, once I was sure that he was the one for me, I started seeing the positive in him. I started seeing, you know, the changed man, if that makes sense. Yeah.
So you can truly say that faith has helped you.
Yes, it has.
Turn your bad relationship into a happy marriage.
Yes.
And you are happy to call him today your husband.
Yes. Yeah. And now we're married. We got married last year, 2016.
Congratulations.
We had a wonderful day.
Very, very good story, and more will come, of course. Now, you see, Pastor Neil, her life changed when she stopped shifting the blame on her partner and started working on herself. And she put it very well when she said, it's a secret.
Yeah.
And I believe it's a top secret. I mean, people struggle in relationships because they keep on blaming the other party.
Exactly.
But then when you start looking at yourself and you start working in you with the help of faith, because even if you try to work, even if you try to change, certain things about you. But let me tell you this, my honorable guest or viewer, there are certain things that you won't be able to change it on your own. You will need God's help, because God can work inside us.
Exactly. And as you said, that one is blame the other. There are many people there said, no, you are the fault. But when I use the faith, as she says, the secret, I use the faith and I start to look in me, no, I want to change. That's where the change is going to come, as you said.
And you also can experience such a change. It's for me, it's for her, so all those who believe. We'll go now to a break. When we return from the break, Pastor Neil will say a powerful prayer for you, for your family, for your friends. If you've got someone in hospital, in prison, if you've got a relative who right now is in a very, very bad condition and they do need a prayer, you can count on us. We are going to pray for them. Stay tuned.
The matters of the heart are the most bothersome.
We like to explore in details what people have been through, what couples have been through, so that we can highlight some points.
Learn to love intelligently. Watch Love Talk on MyTV. Meet the amazing SUV Jaguar, the stylish Fiat, a vintage VW, a sporty Honda, and the green smart ED. Drive it, test it, know it. We have cars for any taste. Explore vehicles and their features with our weekly show. Watch Drive It on MyTV.
Do the maths. Changing your life is not as simple as changing your hairstyle, your shirt, or rearranging the furniture in your living room. You're talking about years of deep-rooted habits, behaviours and problems that are not going to change overnight. Many may say, think positively, but the trouble with that is that you can't do or change anything with just thoughts. But add action into the equation and the outcome can be different. Let's do the maths. Positive thinking plus action equals a change. Whatever it is, if the change is significant, if it's worthwhile, then it will have to take time, effort, and homework from you.
Watch The Chrissy B Show on MyTV.
When I came to this country, I had my goals, my aspirations, but I found that instead of progressing, I was actually almost like firefighting. I was dealing with one crisis after another. And there was one point when I was actually studying part-time, and I had doing two jobs, and I remember that's when I started like having panic attacks, because literally every morning I'd wake up and I'd be thinking, okay, where do I have to be next, you know? And I had enough, because I felt as though for 6 months straight I didn't have a single day of rest, and I felt like my body was beginning to break down. So I called one of the jobs and said I was not coming back, and it was pretty hard for me, because it's not like I could make ends meet, so that was a pretty low point for me. Before coming to the church, I already had my relationship with God, because I grew up in church, so I already had that church upbringing. But my life was still defeated, because it's like I knew God, but I didn't see His promises being materialized in my life. So when I attended the church, I heard the pastor speaking, and he explained what was the cause of the problem, because one of the problems I found, and I didn't quite understand why, was that I was renting, and I was literally moving. I was an ideal tenant, but I kept having to move from one location to another. So like I said, instead of progressing, I was literally just trying to maintain where I was. Also like moving from one job to another as well. And he began to explain what was behind it. So I started to understand what was the cause of my problem. And I started learning how to respond and how to deal with it. And then I began to see bit by bit my life progressing. Like, for example, I had now a stable job and, like a proper job that would be able to, I was able to even to move to a place that instead of, I was flat sharing, and I was able to move to like my own place. I didn't own it, but I was able to rent a place that was now my own. So I actually started seeing progress in my life. Now, actually, I was single at the time. Now I'm married, but more, I have actually my husband and I, we've literally just purchased our own home. And I have an established job now, and I'm going to be promoted very soon, thank God. But most importantly, it's like my mindset has changed. I started to respond differently to what I consider to be the problems. I actually now started seeing them as challenges, because now I was aware that I can actually respond and have victory. So my mindset has completely changed, and my life has really progressed as a result of that.
Welcome back to tonight's show. And as you could say, what an amazing change that has occurred in the life of Marcia Salazar. And the same can happen to you. Faith, Pastor Neil, is a secret, is a mystery that is revealed by God to those who really want to learn about it, but not just learn about it, but learn how to use it. Because faith has no effective action unless one learns how to put into practice. It's like a tool. If you have a tool, but you don't know how to manage it, you don't know how to use it, that tool will not be as effective as it can be in your hands.
It's like the knife is there, and without you take it to cut something, the butt or something, it will be just there. And many people, they said, but I have a problem. I have a problem. How am I going to solve it? They just saw just now. She came and she used faith. That's the secret, Pastor Douglas.
Yeah, the secret is to use faith, and this is what we want to invite you to do. If you want to join us now, prepare now a glass of water if you like, because now is a moment of prayer. Pastor Neil will say a prayer now for you, for your family. If you have a family member who's in prison, he or she, they are on remand, they haven't been sentenced yet, or they've been sentenced. Regardless of the reason as to why they are in prison, we will also pray for them. And there in prison, God will touch them. God will help them. Okay, so let's now go for the prayer.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer concerning your family and loved ones, send your name and prayer request to help@findinganswers.tv.
My Father, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, I present people that they are unhappy. For many years, they have been in this marriage and they are searching to find happiness. This person that is watching this program and they just watch the testimony, and now, my Lord, they are excited. They want to use the secret. I present these people to you. This person that is at the end of the road, don't know where to turn. I pray also for this person that is sick in the hospital, that, my Lord, this person, when they look at themselves, is as if the sickness will not go away. I pray for those who are in prison, those who are behind bars. They didn't, my Lord, for one moment imagine themselves behind bars, But as you removed many, as you gave opportunity for many, this person that is watching right now, give an opportunity for this man, for this woman. I pray for the family, this person that all the time they are fighting, they are quarreling, there are problems. My Lord, may you touch in this family. Remove, my Lord, this misunderstanding. Remove, my Lord, this problem. And in the name of the Lord Jesus, I pray for you that you are the point of giving up. You that you don't know where to turn anymore. I minister strength. Receive strength where you are. Receive strength, you that you are the end of the road and you are about to give up. I tell you, there's a way for you. And my Father, I present each one of them into your hands in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. My God, thank you very much, because once again you have given many people the opportunity to come out of the problem that they are in. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.
Amen. This is it for tonight. We are certain that the testimony, the prayer, the talks here somehow helped you. Now, make the right choice, and remember, your future depends on your choices. Stay safe. Have a good night.